Shit.
Shit.
Am I not allowed to cuss on this thing?
It's encouraged.
We actually hope you do.
Hope you don't, or hope you do.
Hope you do. We won't beep it at all.
They got pissed off at me, huh? They said, fuck on ESPN. I was like, oh man, I'm sorry, Sean. I swear I didn't think about doing it. Okay. I have a hat for you. But tem um chapéu, I have a hat for you guys. Yeah.
Everybody good? Yeah. Okay.
So did we hear you correctly? Was it whoops, there it is? Or
Yeah, whoop, there it is. Yeah.
Is that the mantra for the event? Like you were like, there it is, there's my debut, there's my open.
I mean, it is what it is, you know. I think that's what you guys wanted to see, right? So, whoop, there it is.
What was the feeling like finally walking out there to the cage and taking in the lights and seeing all the people and having your corners behind you? What was that moment like for you?
It felt pretty good. I've kind of missed it a little bit since my last fight. That it's a little bit of a different feeling when you step on the stage and everybody's watching and the lights a little different and everything. It's a little bit different of a feeling, but actually when I got there, it felt really good and felt really at home and like I missed it, and the adrenaline feels good and everything feels good. So, thank God everything was well.
Were there any nerves? Were you, like, at some point, were like, oh, I'm about to get in a fight?
No, I think no. That's why my name is Ice Cream Kron, you know. I mean, there's always like feelings you get, you know, 1 month out from the fight, 2 weeks out from the fight, 1 week out from the fight, 1 day before the fight, 2 hours. There's feelings you get, but I've always been able to just kind of focus on what's necessary and stay cool under pressure. And that's been natural since I was a little kid. And I do a lot of training. I spar a lot. I train with a lot of good guys, a lot of pro boxers, a lot of Nate Diaz punching me in the face, a lot of people been putting me through a lot of training for a long time. So it's not nothing new, you know, nothing was a surprise. And I've been training for this for a while, you know, almost my whole life.
At Media Day, you talked a lot about how you just wanted to test yourself against the best, and that was in the UFC.
Yeah.
Speaking on Caceres specifically, do you think he was a good test for you in there now that it's over?
Yeah, I think, of course. I said that I didn't want to disrespect him and say that he wasn't tough and I wanted a tougher guy. I was saying that I had fought Kawajiri my fight before. And that was a guy who was a top 10 guy for years. And his record was like 35-10. And his last fight was before me was with Cub Swanson. So that's what I was saying. I was like, I wanted a guy in that kind of better than Kawajiri so I could improve my credibility. Nothing to take away from Alex, and anything can happen in a fight. You could lose to somebody with less credibility. You could lose to anybody. It's still a gamble. You never know what can happen. But I think Alex was a good test, and I'm glad to have come out, you know, with a first round sub.
How much pressure having the weight of the family name and the heritage going into this?
The pressure is there, but like I said, that's why I try to stay cool under pressure. You know? It's like I've always had pressure. I'm like a 9-year-old kid going in a jiu-jitsu match, and everyone's like, "Oh, that's Hickson." All of a sudden, a tournament with 500 people, all the 500 people are looking at me as a little kid. So I've felt that from a little kid. My dad never lost a fight. It's always been about pressure, you know, and the pressure that you guys put on me is not nearly as much as the pressure that my dad puts on me, so.
Have you talked to your dad since the
Not today, but I talked to him yesterday.
Your family obviously has deep roots in Brazil. They have a pretty big stadium show coming up in May. Is that something you like competing in?
What is it right now, February 17th?
Yes.
Maybe March, April, May? Yeah, for sure. May?
Yeah.
I'll be ready to go, no problem.
With you and Tiva?
Whatever.
Did you see Conor McGregor's comments about you this week and even tonight?
I didn't see what he said tonight. What did he say tonight?
He said, I think he's like, welcome to the game, young son. Something like that.
Yeah. I heard what he said yesterday, and it's kind of cool to get that respect, that he respects the Gracie family, because it's true. None of us would be here without my uncle creating the UFC. So, yeah, it's kind of surreal sometimes, you know, that I'm in the situation that I'm in. You know, my grandfather and my dad never lost, and me, it's kind of like a pretty interesting storyline, and I'm here to make some noise. I'm here to make some problems for everybody.
You've been asked about the Gracie name probably more times than I can count, but do you acknowledge that it probably gives you a bit of a silver lining in that this sport's about getting attention and building your name? You've already got it, right? Is there a silver lining to that?
Say it again?
Is there like a positive to having the Gracie name? Like it's going to get you more attention and get you those shots quicker than you would have if you were just like Kron Smith?
It's like a gift and a curse, Like anything, there's a good and a bad. And it doesn't come without something else. Like the good things about being in the Gracie family, about being Hickson's son, and about training with my dad, is there's a lot of positive, and then there's a lot of negative too, And there's a lot of downside, and there's a lot of, like everything, there's ups and downs, and you got to get through. You got to get through it. No one gets out of this life having an easy life. Even people who are rich, super rich, they don't have an easy life. They have to deal with other problems. So the fact that you're a Gracie, look at how many other Gracies have not been in my situation to win a fight, So it's like, it's not easy. Just being a Gracie doesn't make it easy. Just being anything doesn't make it easy. So you don't get out of this life easy life, no matter who you are, no matter where you are. I think that the Gracie family is something that I've been wanting to represent since I was a little kid, and now it's like ingrained in me. I don't even think about it. But if it is gonna help me, since it's such a part of me since I was a little kid, and everything I am is because of the family, and it's because of my roots and because of my dad, then all that pressure that I had to deal with my whole life, it's gonna add up to the good now. Now I get to take that and I get to represent the family, and now every move I make is twice as powerful because I've been carrying this weight on my shoulders since I was a little kid.
Can you talk about who did you actually train with for this fight? I know Nate was in your corner, but
Yeah.
was he part of your actual camp day to day?
Definitely not day to day because he lives up north. He lives in Stockton, and he comes out. He came out a few times for the camp, and I had a lot of pro boxers come in and train with me. I had some pro MMA guys, but mostly a lot of my training was done at the gym with my students, and a lot of people at my gym, and I do a lot of like running and whatever workouts and stuff, and a lot of spiritual work. So I just kind of do a lot of stuff, and I just built a gym next to mine, which has boxing rings and punching bags like throughout this camp. So now I'll be able to put in better training for me. So throughout this whole camp I was training, I was also building a gym next door. And now that this fight is over, I'll be able to open that gym up and have a good training, so I'll be able to make it a lot easier for pro boxers and pro kickboxers or whoever wants to train, trainers, all this stuff to come down.
And you're still, like day to day, you're still you're an instructor, right? You teach classes and things, right?
Yeah, I teach a lot of classes. Yeah,
So
I teach a lot. My gym has been my biggest support system since I was a little kid, and they're always there trying to beat me up, trying to, get information. They're like my constant motivation, and they don't let me sleep. So I think my gym is really what keeps me alive on a day-to-day basis. And then, of course, if I'm training for a fight, I'm not teaching as much, and they all understand it, and everybody's super happy.
Do you miss teaching, or
I teach.
Are you still-
Yeah, I still teach. Like I after this fight, I'll teach for a little bit, and then as soon as I get into a camp, I won't teach. But I think there's a big part of teaching and service that helps me become a better fighter. If I don't teach for too long, my fighting gets a little rusty. So it's a weird balance, a karmic balance for me. Like the more I teach, there's a balance between teaching and training that I have to keep to make sure I'm at my optimal health. So it's like even when I teach the little kids sometimes, even though it doesn't feel like I'm getting better, it makes me better because like with the universe, the more you help, the more you're at service, the more it makes you better. So I go and I teach these little kids, and it makes me happy, and I get better somehow, and all of a sudden I'm sparring with pro boxers, and I'm doing better against them, and somehow it's all connected.
I think with the Gracie name, you could probably call your shots a lot easier than somebody else coming in to the UFC. I think you took the UFC's name they gave you now, and you put them away pretty easily. Are you going to take a more active role and maybe calling a particular person out? And are there names of somebody that you think you want next, or maybe that you've looked at the UFC and said, I want to fight this guy or this guy?
Well, since I was in this camp, I was just focused on this guy, and a lot has changed throughout this camp. So I'm gonna look at what are the stats, who's really doing something, and I'll come up with somebody.
Post-fight, you made a comment about watch your neck.
Yeah, for sure.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
It's the neck is between the head and the shoulders, and it's what I'm gonna choke when I get your back or in front of you or in the side of you. That's what's gonna happen.
Did you visualize this fight ending with the rear naked choke?
I visualize a lot of things, you know, good and bad in the fight. I visualize having a long fight. I visualize having a good fight. Submissions from all different angles. I visualize a lot of different possibilities. And then this was just the one that happened. Before I knew it, I was on his back. I don't even know how I got it. I just happened. So.
Your opponent tonight had this was his 20th trip to the octagon. You know, well-seasoned veteran. You came right into the deep end. Fought a guy that's well-traveled. Has fought Uriah Faber. Has fought Sergio Pettis. Has fought everybody. I think gentlemen elaborated on it. What's next for you? But where do you see yourself going from here? Where do you see the next step in your career?
Only up, right? I don't see myself going back down. My fight before that was with Kawajiri, and Kawajiri was the top contender for a long, long time. And that was a tough fight, and I did well against him. So I felt like I want another test, I want another challenge, and I want every fight to get tougher and tougher. You don't know how long we live for, so we've got to take these moments as we can and have tough fights. Like I said before, I want tough fights with tough guys. Win or lose, I want to come back and get better. Thank you.